Hey, welcome back to Michael Tells. Today's story is one of my favorites. It's funny, it's sweet, and it starts with the most awkward misunderstanding you can imagine. A guy is at his mom's birthday party. He helps one of her coworkers with a broken zipper on her dress, and his mom walks in at the exact wrong moment. What she thought she saw? Completely wrong. What it turned into? You're not going to believe it. So sit back and let Adam tell you himself.
Okay, so the second my mom opened that door, I swear, her face did this whole little movie in about half a second. This tiny, oh. And I knew, right away, exactly what she was thinking. And it was so far from what was actually happening that it should have been hilarious. Except it wasn't funny yet. Not right then. Right then, I was just a guy standing in his old childhood bedroom, holding the top of a woman's dress in both hands, with my mother frozen in the doorway, looking at the two of us like she'd wandered into the middle of a movie she was not supposed to be watching. Let me back up, because this is actually the story of how I met the woman I'm about to marry. And I promise you it starts with a zipper, a stuck zipper. At my mom's 55th birthday party. I know how that sounds. Just trust me, give me 20 minutes. So, my name's Adam Keller. I'm 24. I live in Columbus, Ohio. Grew up here, still here, probably gonna die here. And honestly, I'm fine with that. I work at a distribution warehouse on the west side. I run inventory and logistics. Basically, I'm the guy who makes sure the thing you ordered is actually on the shelf where the computer says it is. And when it's not, I'm the guy who figures out where it went. It's not glamorous. Nobody grows up dreaming of pallet racks and barcode scanners. But it pays okay. My coworkers are decent, and I like solving little puzzles all day. That's kind of my whole personality, if I'm honest. I like when things line up. I moved out of my parents' place when I was 22. Got a little one-bedroom apartment about 15 minutes from them, which, if you know anything about my mom, 15 minutes is basically next door. She's the kind of mom who texts you, "Did you eat?" at 9 at night and means it as a genuine question she needs answered. Love her to death. But when I moved out, I think a piece of her sort of deflated. My dad's still around, they're still together, 30 years married, but I'm the only kid, and when I left, that house got real quiet for her. So her birthday, her 55th, that was a big one for her. Not because of the number exactly, but because she'd been through kind of a rough couple of years. Health stuff, nothing serious in the end, but scary for a while. And she came out the other side of it, and she wanted to, celebrate being here. Being 55 and healthy and surrounded by people. And I love that. I love that she wanted that. So she throws this party, and when my mom throws a party, she invites everybody. I mean everybody. The relatives, obviously, aunts, uncles, my cousins, my grandma, but also her entire office. My mom works at an accounting firm downtown. She's been there like 16 years. She's basically the heart of the place. And she invited the whole crew. Coworkers I'd heard about my entire life, but never actually met. Oh, Sharon from work. Oh, Dave from the office. I've been hearing these names since I was a kid, but I couldn't have picked a single one of them out of a lineup. The party was at the house, backyard and the main floor, all of it. And I'll be honest, I showed up kind of braced for it to be awkward. You know that feeling? Big mixed crowd, family and strangers, and you're the guest of honor's son, so everybody knows exactly who you are, and you know nobody. But it wasn't awkward. It was actually really nice. My mom had strung up lights in the backyard. There was a table absolutely buckling under the weight of food. Somebody's playlist was going, Motown, 70s stuff, the good stuff. People were laughing. My dad was manning the grill with this look of total contentment on his face. It was comfortable, genuinely comfortable, which for a party with 60 people at it is kind of a miracle. And I did the rounds. I met the coworkers. Sharon from work turned out to be a tiny woman with a laugh that could shatter glass. Dave from the office was exactly as boring as I'd always imagined. God bless him. I shook a lot of hands. I said, "Yeah, I'm the son," about 40 times. And then I met Kelly. Kelly Marsh. She'd started at the firm maybe a year before, so I'd never heard her name, and she was 31, which I didn't know at the time. I found that out later. And she was standing near the drinks table kind of on her own, and my mom sort of steered me over there. "Adam, this is Kelly. She sits right across from me. She's wonderful." That's a direct quote. She's wonderful. My mom does not hand out wonderful lightly. And my first impression of Kelly was just warm, easy. She had this way of talking to you like she'd known you for years, but not in a fake way. not a salesperson way. She asked me actual questions about the warehouse, about the puzzles, about whether I liked it. And she listened to the answers. And yeah, she was beautiful. I'm not going to pretend she wasn't. But that wasn't the thing that got me. The thing that got me was she was easy to talk to. We stood by that drinks table for like 20 minutes just talking. About nothing. About everything. And it felt like no time at all. And then we got pulled apart, the way you do at parties. She got swept off by some of the office people. I got dragged into a conversation with my uncle about his truck. Always the truck. And I kind of figured that was that. Nice person. Ships passing. My mom's coworker. Okay, now, here's where it happens. It's maybe 2 hours into the party. It's in full swing. Peak party. The backyard's packed, the music's loud, everybody's got a drink and a plate. And I'd stepped inside to grab something from my old room. My parents kept my childhood bedroom pretty much as a storage room / guest room now, but it's still got my old desk, my old bed, the whole time capsule. And I was in there, and Kelly comes down the hallway. And she stops in the doorway, and she's got this look on her face, half embarrassed, half laughing at herself. And she goes, okay, this is so awkward, but the zipper on my dress just gave out, back of the shoulders. I can't reach it, and I cannot walk back out there like this. Could you? And she kind of turns around and points at the top of her back. And listen, it was nothing. I want to be super clear because of how the rest of this goes. It was the top of the dress, up near the shoulders, where a dress just comes undone at the top and gapes a little at the neck. Totally normal wardrobe malfunction, the kind that happens to people at parties all the time. She wasn't half-dressed, nothing was falling off, it was a stuck zipper at shoulder height, and she needed a second pair of hands. That's it. So I said, yeah, of course, and she turned around and I got the little zipper pull between my fingers, and it was being stubborn, caught on the fabric a little, the way they do. And I was kind of carefully working it up, focused on not snagging the material, tongue between my teeth like I'm defusing a bomb. And that is the exact moment my mother opens the door. I mean the exact moment. She'd come to find me because she needed help carrying the cake out or something. She opens the door and what she sees is her son in his childhood bedroom, standing very close behind her coworker, hands at the woman's shoulders at the top of an undone dress. From the doorway, zero context. And her face, oh man, her face did the whole thing. The eyebrows went up, the mouth went into this little O, and then, and this is so my mom, instead of saying anything, instead of asking a single question, she just goes, oh, sorry. With this enormous knowing smile spreading across her face, and she backs out and pulls the door shut. Click, gone. And Kelly and I just stood there in the silence. And I finished the zipper, because at that point, what else are you gonna do? And Kelly slowly turned around and looked at me, and I looked at her, and we both realized at exactly the same second what had just happened. What my mom thought she saw, and how absolutely catastrophically wrong it was, and how there was no way, none, that we were ever going to convince her otherwise. Because here's the thing about my mom. Once she decides she's seen something, she has seen it. You cannot unring that bell. If I'd chased her down the hallway going, Mom, no, the dress, the zipper, it was stuck, she would have just patted my arm and gone, sure, honey, sure, with that same smile. It would have made it worse. It would have looked like exactly what a guilty person says. So Kelly and I kind of looked at each other, and Kelly, and this is the moment I knew I liked her, really liked her, Kelly starts laughing. This helpless, silent, shoulder-shaking laugh. And she goes, she is never going to believe us, is she? And I said, not in a million years. And she said, so do we even try? And I said, absolutely not. It's hopeless. We just have to live with it. And we walked back out to the party like two people who had just quietly agreed to accept our fate. And for the rest of that party, my mom watched us. Oh, she watched us. Every time I glanced over, she was already looking, with this soft, delighted, absolutely convinced little smile on her face, like she'd caught the tail end of a wonderful secret. Every time Kelly and I ended up near each other, and we did keep ending up near each other, which, in hindsight, my mom's eyes would just twinkle. At one point, she brought us both a slice of cake, personally, together, made a whole little production of it. Here you go, you two. You two. I wanted the ground to swallow me. But here's the part I didn't expect. That whole misunderstanding, it kind of broke the ice in this weird way. Because now Kelly and I had a thing, a shared disaster, an inside joke that was about 4 minutes old and already the funniest thing either of us had experienced all year. And when you've got that with someone, that instant, can you believe this is happening? The walls just aren't there anymore. We spent the back half of the party orbiting each other, talking more. And when it was time for people to head out, she goes, kinda casual, "Give me your number," in case your mom needs backup on her version of events. And I laughed and I gave her my number. And I figured, again, that'd be it. Nice person, funny night. My mom's coworker, who I now had a hilarious story with. That's a nice thing to have. I didn't think it was going to be anything. But we texted that week. Just little stuff. She sent me a photo of the dress with the fixed zipper, all repaired, captioned, "Crisis averted. No thanks to your mother's imagination." And I sent something back. And she sent something back, and you know how it goes. The texts didn't stop. They just kept going. Days, then weeks. It became this steady little background thing in my life. I'd be at the warehouse scanning pallets, and my phone would buzz, and it'd be Kelly with some dumb observation about her day, and I'd catch myself grinning at a barcode gun like an idiot. And then one day she just goes, "Okay, we clearly have to actually hang out. Do you want to get coffee, or are you going to make me keep carrying this friendship entirely by text?" Which, that's so Kelly. Just direct, no games. So we got coffee. And the coffee turned into a 3-hour coffee. You know, the kind where the cups are long empty and the barista's kind of glaring at you, but you don't want to leave? That kind. We had so much to talk about. Turned out we liked the same weird stuff. We both, okay, this is going to sound silly. We're both really into hiking, but not like intense hiking, just going and looking at things. Trails, overlooks. She had this whole list of spots around Ohio she wanted to get to, and I had a couple she didn't know about. And we're both the kind of person who likes fixing things, figuring things out. She does it with numbers at the firm, I do it with inventory, but it's the same brain. We just clicked on like 9 different levels. The 7-year age gap. Because yeah, she's 31, I'm 24. I kept waiting for that to feel like a big deal, and it just never did. She never made me feel like a kid. I never felt like I had to keep up. We were just 2 adults who really, really like spending time together. That's the whole thing. So coffee became a walk. The walk became dinner. Dinner became this standing thing where every weekend we were doing something. We drove out to one of those overlooks on her list and watched the whole valley go orange at sunset and didn't say much of anything, and it was perfect. We went to a farmer's market and she made me try like 6 kinds of honey. We fixed her garbage disposal together at 11 at night, both of us on the kitchen floor with a flashlight, laughing. It was slow. It was easy. It was the least dramatic love story you've ever heard, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. And my mom, oh, my mom was insufferable, in the best way. Because remember, in her mind, she'd caught us. She'd known before we knew. So when it came out that Kelly and I were actually officially seeing each other, my mom's reaction was not surprise. It was vindication. It was, I knew it. I saw it at the party. I have eyes. And Kelly and I never did tell her the truth about the zipper. To this day, my mother believes she walked in on the beginning of our romance. And you know what? In a weird way, she kind of did. Just not the way she thinks. So we let her have it. It's her favorite story. She tells it at every family thing. I found them in his bedroom. And Kelly and I just make eye contact across the room and let her go. Okay, so a few months in, things are good. Things are really good. And I start thinking about the whole thing, the rest of it. Because with Kelly, I never had that thing where you're kind of counting the days till it goes bad. I just wanted more of it. All of it. And a bunch of my buddies had this camping trip planned. Out past Hocking Hills. Few days, cabins and tents, the whole crew. And every single one of my friends was bringing their girlfriend. Every one. And I remember thinking, I don't want to be the guy sitting at the campfire alone while everybody else has got somebody. And more than that, I wanted her there. So I asked her. And I kind of leaned on the everyone's bringing someone, I don't want to be the odd one out angle. Because I was a little nervous, and that felt like a safe, casual way to ask. And she saw right through it, obviously, because she sees through everything, and she just goes, "Adam, you could have just said you wanted me to come." And I said, "I want you to come." And she said, "Yes." So we go. Whole crew out in the woods, 3 days.
And it was everything I love about being alive, honestly. Campfire, terrible camping food that tastes amazing because you're outside, my friends being idiots, Kelly fitting in with all of them like she'd always been there. My best friend's girlfriend pulled me aside on the first night and just went, "Okay, she's the one, right?" And I didn't even have to think about it. And on the second night, I'd planned this. I'd been carrying the ring in my jacket the whole drive up, terrified I was going to lose it in a tent. On the second night, I got everybody in on it, and we did this little hike up to an overlook at sunset. Because of course, it had to be an overlook at sunset. That was our thing. And the whole valley went gold, just like that first time, and everybody kind of quietly hung back, and I still get worked up thinking about it. I got down on one knee, on this rock at the top, with the whole world lit up behind us. And I don't even fully remember what I said. I had a whole thing planned, and I think I got out about 4 words of it. Something about how she was the easiest person I'd ever known. How I'd been trying to line things up my whole life, and she was the first thing that just fit without me having to force it. And I asked her to marry me. And she said yes. She said yes before I even finished, honestly. She was already nodding, already crying and laughing at the same time, already saying it. And my friends all lost their minds behind us. There's a video, it's about 90% screaming. And I stood up and she just about tackled me, and we almost both went off the overlook, which would have been a real different ending to this story. So, yeah, we're getting married. We're in the middle of all of it right now. The venue, the lists, the seating charts, all of it. And it's chaos and it's wonderful. Kelly's got a whole spreadsheet, obviously, color-coded. I've never loved a spreadsheet more. And my mom. My mom cried for a solid 10 minutes when we told her. And then, through the tears, the very first thing she said, the very first thing was, "I knew it, from the party. I knew the second I opened that door." And Kelly looked at me, and I looked at Kelly, and we made this silent little deal. The same deal we made in that bedroom a year ago, and we just said, "Yeah, Mom, you knew." Because at this point, why would we ever correct her? She gets to believe she's the one who saw it first. She gets to believe her son's whole happy ending started with a moment she walked in on. And the truth is, it kind of did. It really did. It just started with a stuck zipper and a woman who needed a hand, and a mother with a wonderful, ridiculous, romantic imagination who filled in all the wrong blanks and somehow got the right answer anyway. So that's it. That's the story. The woman I'm about to marry, I met because her dress broke at my mom's birthday party, and my mother caught me fixing it and assumed the best possible worst thing. And honestly, best mistake anybody's ever made about me. We're doing the wedding in the fall, and you'd better believe my mom is giving a speech. And you'd better believe it's going to start with, "So I opened this door," and I'm going to let her.
So that's Adam's story. And honestly, I love this one because nothing dramatic even happened. A stuck zipper, a mom who walked in at the wrong second, and one big misunderstanding. But sometimes that's all it takes. The best things in life don't come from some perfect plan. They come from the messy, awkward, accidental moments we'd never choose on purpose. And his mom? She still thinks she caught them, and they just let her believe it. Because in a weird way, she wasn't entirely wrong. If this one made you smile, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next story. Drop a comment and tell me, would you have tried to explain it to your mom, or just let it go? Thanks for watching. I'm Michael, and I'll see you in the next one.